Hi, Mrs. Gates here. As we start talking about forces, one of the most important things to understand is the difference between mass and weight. So let's look at those quantities. Let's start with a couple of definitions. When we talk about an object's mass, what we really mean is the amount of stuff that makes up that object. You can also think of the mass as an object's resistance to changing its velocity. When we measure mass, the variable we typically use is the lowercase letter m, and we measure mass with units of grams, kilograms, or milligrams. In order to measure an object's mass, we put it on a balance. Here you see an electronic balance and a triple beam balance. By contrast, when we talk about an object's weight, what we really mean is how much is gravity pulling down on that object. The variable we use to represent the force of gravity is F with a subscript g, or the capital letter W to represent weight. Because it is a force, the units we use to measure the force of gravity are newtons, capital letter N. And the device with which we usually measure something's force of gravity is called a spring scale. When you hang an object from the hook on the bottom, a spring is stretched various amounts depending on how much gravity is pulling on our object. In order to help understand the difference between mass and weight, let's consider an astronaut. Let's say that our astronaut starts off on Earth. Her mass is 70 kilograms, and on Earth, the force of gravity is pulling down on her, giving her a weight of 686 newtons. If this astronaut travels to the moon, her mass will not have changed. It will still be 70 kilograms. But the strength of gravity on the moon is not as strong as it is on Earth, and so her weight, or the force of gravity, will have decreased to only 117 newtons. If this same astronaut found herself floating in space far from planets and stars, she would find that her mass was still 70 kilograms. But far from the force of gravity from planets and stars, her weight would be 0 newtons. Today, our lab will focus on finding the relationship between mass and the force of gravity on our home planet Earth.